At this hour, we have breaking news. We have not one, but two newly named winter storms as we track Winter Storm Ember and Winter Storm Finn. Both could bring very heavy snow, bluster winds, and this to millions of people this weekend and early next week. Welcome in, everyone. This is Weather Underground. I'm Mike Bettis.
I'm Alex Wilson. As always, our expert, Dr. Nab, with us. He's going in depth on both storms throughout Weather Underground today to keep you on top of everything and anything we could see out of these.
Yeah, and eventually we're going to get watches and warnings for these systems that involve a lot of different hazards: snow and ice, wind and coastal flooding. We could have some severe weather from both systems. It is going to be packing a punch in both cases.
And there's truly a lot to unpack with these storms, and information is key in all this, right? There's still a couple of days away, at least the one here in the Northeast, but a lot of different things on the table here, including some heavy snow very near the I-95 corridor. Some along the I-95 corridor will get it, some won't.
I know. Isn't that the million-dollar question at this point? And millions of people asking said question, because those cities along the 95 corridor, that's where most of the people live. So we could see a lot of people shut out. We could see a lot of people get in on some big snow.
And there's still time for that forecast to change. So don't take one forecast and then tune out. Got to keep tuning back in, because things could change as that storm forms and gets closer.
All right, so let's run through it and show you exactly what we're anticipating here. We've also got Winter Storm Finn. So that's Winter Storm Ember. The one that comes behind it is going to be Winter Storm Finn. That one's going to take a track that takes it through the middle of the country, then eventually around the Great Lakes.
Yeah, so this one could be a really potent system into next week's severe component, possibly blizzard conditions.
Yeah, and so more people in the south and the east are going to get rain and storms. So a larger area of severe weather. And what happens when rain falls on snow from a previous storm? Could flooding be a big problem?
Yeah.
Wow, lots to talk about.
Could be an absolute mess.
For sure.
All right, let's take you to Santa Fe, New Mexico right now. So isn't it the joy and the trauma of winter weather forecasting, right? Because it truly is such a matter of precision when it comes to where that rain snow line sets up.
And it's hard enough to forecast the track relative to this benchmark that we've talked about, the center of the low going over that spot, maximizing snow for the I-95 corridor. But it's also about horizontal size and forward speed, and the models don't agree on any of those, right? So here's the Euro with the center coming just over the benchmark at a pretty decent size. So that snow is in some of the big cities and going way inland. So it does maximize the snow for a lot of big cities. And this is a true nor'easter for Boston, that northeasterly wind direction.
So it's going to be brutal. When it's snowing, the winds will be gusty too. That onshore flow for coastal areas. Still a decent bit of spread for a forecast model.
That was just one main run of the Euro model, but some of its alternative scenarios are inside the benchmark, some are outside. And then you look at the snowfall from the main run of the Euro and compare that to the GFS. Ironically, some places like Philadelphia and New York get more snow from the GFS. And look at the latest run. I think we can understand why that is. It's not just about the fact that the GFS goes very close to the benchmark, maybe just a hair inside, but look at what is happening in this part of the run here on Sunday. It is slowing down and strengthening at the same time. So that is amplifying the snow kind of in place.
Right. You're going to see an influx in the rate of precipitation. So we get some intense snow. But as you mentioned, when it does that, it's sitting right over that 95 corridor, really between New York and Boston. So what, a Providence, a Hartford, a Boston could be looking at some really impactful snow by that point.
Yeah. So just like a hurricane is worse when it's larger and slower moving, I think the snow could really pile up if something like that GFS run ends up being correct, where it's a slow mover. But again, the track is still all over the place with regard to the alternative scenarios. But look at Boston. In the Euro, you've got a decent amount of snow. The GFS has even more. So that slow-moving GFS amps up the snowfall totals for most of the city. So that's a possibility.
Yeah, speed of the system, always crucial, too. So, Mike, there are a few complications, right?
Wait, the suspense builds.